welcome to the Pool is Abstract, where this episode we'll be wrapping up Series 2 with our overall thoughts and opinions of the series and a little quiz. I'm Charlotte, and with me today is the Pete to my Jackie. It's Connor.
Are you always trying to be cute?
Well, I mean, their relationship is a little bit troubled.
Yeah, good point. Fair enough. Hello.
Hello. Wrap up, baby.
Wrap up, baby. Yeah.
Yeah.
Series 2, Wild Ride.
It was. We've got through there. I'm not going to lie. So a little bit before this, I did a bit of prep.
Yeah.
Again, like I said, for a quiz, and we've both got our rankings, which we'll get to later on.
Uh-huh.
And when I was going through the list, I realised, my God, some of these episodes we watched quite some time ago.
Yeah.
The thought of like New Earth, it was a while back.
Yeah.
I had
guess
to
so.
like refresh my memory a bit. I was like, oh, but yeah. So I guess
You're taking the lead today.
yes, I am. It is my job. My one thing I'm
Once
allowed
every
to have.
13 episodes, Charlotte takes the lead.
And it shows. I took this intro about 5 times. But yeah. I guess we'll just jump straight into it.
Go
So,
on.
how do you think about this series? Series 2?
Series 2. Not as good as Series 1.
Really? I know it's often people think it's like their favourite of
Yeah, I think...
Tennant's era. Well, not Tennant's, but Russell's era.
I think most people who say Series 2 is their favourite, I feel like haven't rewatched it.
I
feel
think
like
they remember the best bits and forget the worst.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I think they forget the stories that make up this season,
Yeah.
and they remember just David Tennant and Rose.
Yeah.
And they remember because people love Rose as a companion. People have nostalgia for this dynamic. So I think when you show people like clips or photos from this series, they remember that, and it gives them the little rose tinted goggles. But
Pardon the pun.
yeah. But I don't know. I feel like people who are in the fandom and people who rewatch these semi-regularly, I actually think Series 2 is largely considered the weakest of Tennant's series.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. I would agree.
I wouldn't.
But yeah, I think in comparison to... I guess we'll get it more into details why a little later, but I think... I did say when we recapped Series 1 that I don't think there's a bad episode in there. I think the weakest episode is middling. This series has some bad episodes.
It does.
It does have some good ones as well, to be fair. I can't
does,
say
yes.
this is a bad series per se. It's got some great ones in there. But this has lower lows for me.
I can... Well, yeah, I can see that. Yeah. The
As
lowest low for me is also much lower than Series 1.
Yeah, like I say, I know like there are episodes in Series 1 that you don't like that I look upon more favourably. But yeah, I feel like if you look at your least favourite moments in Series 1 and your least favourite moments in Series 2, they're lower, aren't they? They're
Yeah,
worse.
definitely. Yeah, there's some
Yeah.
ropey ones in this one.
I also think, as good as this series is, and as there are many good episodes and good moments in there, I don't ever think it reaches the highs of Series 1 either. That's maybe
Yeah.
more subjective,
Well, I think...
but there's no parting of the ways in here, do you know what I mean?
I mean,
I just like that stuff.
I was going to say, you know how I feel about that. Yeah, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I can agree with that. There's a lot of stories in this I really like,
Yeah.
but I know what you mean. I feel like there's not many. When I do my rankings, I kind of do them in 3 categories. That kind of helps me put them in an order.
Okay.
And I found, so I do the best, middle.
Yeah,
or
we
mid,
did that
and then
last time, didn't we?
worst.
Yeah, we did. What was it, like top 5 or something, bottom 5, and then the middle ones or something like that?
I really struggled because I have like my top, and then I have like the bottom, and then not many in the middle. Which
Okay.
usually it's quite like last season. I found it quite easy to kind of
Yeah, more. It was kind of easy to split into even thirds.
yeah.
you
It was
think?
either like, oh, you are terrible, or I like you.
Yeah.
There wasn't many like
Do you think this series has more meh or less meh?
less meh.
Less meh. So very.
It's more stronger opinions. I either
Yeah.
really like it or I really don't.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I think this series as a whole is a bit less cohesive than the first one. I think
Yeah.
obviously with the first series we had the Bad Wolf meme ongoing throughout. This series we got Torchwood as our reference. I do think it's... You know what? I feel like this... I do like Torchwood as a recurring thing, and I feel like this is probably the last series where the series-long arc, like repeated phrase that comes off, that ends up paying off in the finale. I feel like this is the last time that's done well.
Yeah.
But I still don't think it's as strong as the Bad Wolf. I'm not as...
I agree.
I think it's because we know what Torchwood is already.
Yeah.
Because I think the fact that we see Torchwood's origins in episode 2,
Yeah.
plus the fact that you can kind of just work it out from context, because there's references to like the Torchwood files and stuff like that. We can kind of just work out what it is.
Yeah.
Where I feel like with Bad Wolf, it was, what is this? Why is it everywhere? They draw a lot more attention to Torchwood as well, because Bad Wolf might be one of those things you might not even notice it being brought up until like halfway through the series.
Yeah, it might be written somewhere.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. The first time I think it's on the nose is when it's written on the side of the TARDIS. Because it's something that the Moxa Balhoun just says. He says, like, this is a Bad Wolf scenario or something like that in End of the World. Obviously, Gwyneth says, like, the big bad wolf, but obviously, because that's one of the early ones, we don't know that's a reference per se.
Yeah.
Then we see it written on the TARDIS. There's like the helicopter pilot in Dalek that says it, and it's all kind of there. It's Bad Wolf TV is one of the things in the long game. It's not really until you start getting to like, I don't know, Boomtown, where you're like,
I was gonna say Boomtown, where she's like that word follows us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas this, it's a lot more present.
They draw more attention to it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, and I like it, but I do think it's not as engaging as a mystery in comparison to Bad Wolf.
I agree
and
with that.
the payoff is not as satisfying. That's nothing to do with the fact I don't like Torchwood or I don't like the episodes. It's just, like I say, I feel like we know what it is already, so we're just waiting for them to show up.
Yeah, and you would assume that it's gonna be when they keep bringing it up. You're like, oh, we'll find out in the last episode.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I pretty much agree with you there. I think it's strange. I think because they said I'm not so much of a fan of the season finale. In series 1, whereas I like the season finale in this one.
Okay.
But I do agree that the reveal is done so much better there.
Yeah.
And you would think that would play a big part after watching a whole series or season. You think it would be like, oh, it finally wrapped up my thing, but I kind of didn't care that it didn't wrap it up. It was like, oh, yep, that's Torchwood. Well,
yeah. I wonder, because I know you've only said you don't mind Parting of the Ways, but you don't really like Bad Wolf.
yeah,
So that's the episode Bad Wolf, not the arc.
yeah.
Do you reckon you look more fondly upon this finale? Because I assume you see both parts closer together in quality in comparison to the last series. Because your vision of Parting of the Ways is tainted by stuff like the Android,
Yeah,
and the
I
Big
agree
Brother
with
house.
that, yeah.
Where with this one, it's like Army of Ghosts is closer to Doomsday in quality. I feel.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's true. I think it's fair.
Yeah.
Would you feel that? Do you feel that? Well, I know you like both, but would you agree with that statement that they're closer in quality in general, or at least closer in
It's
tone?
hard. It's hard because, yeah, they are closer in tone. Because in series 1, Bad Wolf is played. I don't want to say for comedic effect. Like, it's hard because again, when you think of like the Big Brother house and the Android, like yes, it is. But then that's the same episode where we see Rose get quote unquote disintegrated.
Yeah.
And that really like good moments of the Doctor like shutting everything out, and it's got these really good moments in there.
I think they're overshadowed by the rest of it, though. Whereas this, I like the build-up feels more like a build-up in this series finale, I think, than in.
I feel
the other
like
one.
Army of Ghosts and Doomsday feels like one story that's got a clear division where it's been cut in half.
Yeah.
It feels like a part 1 and a part 2.
I agree.
Where Bad Wolf Parting of the Ways feels like, I know it is a part 1 and a part 2, but they kind of feel like they feel a little disjointed in that way, where it feels like, yes, this is clearly the setting up, and then this is the payoff.
Yeah.
Where, I mean, you could argue the same thing for this one, because Army of Ghosts is setting up the ghosts and Torchwood, and Doomsday is just all the action. But, like, I don't know, this does feel more...
But I think
Maybe it's because we cut back less, because, in, like, in series 1, we have the bit where Rose gets sent home and we keep cutting away from the action to go back to her, where in this, it's just you're following them in the moment the whole time. Maybe that's what it is. But this feels more cohesive and more like an actual, like, 2 parts thing.
Do you know, I was gonna say something, but looking back, I think it applies to both. I was gonna say, do you think it's because in Army of Ghosts, you have the Cybermen, they come in pretty early, don't they? We learn that they're the Cybermen quite quick. Not really quick, but...
Well, us or the characters?
Well, both.
I don't know, because we work it out pretty much instantly, because as soon as they start going in, they've got the ear pods and all that stuff, and they play the Cyberman theme, we kind of work it out. The Doctor doesn't actually realise it until the end of Army of Ghosts.
I guess, but my point, what I was going to say was, we then have that cliffhanger of the Daleks being revealed and like what's in the sphere.
Yeah.
I was going to say the same thing about series 1, about having like the villains, like the android, and it's like the game shows are the villain, and then it's like, oh no, it's the Daleks that are the villain.
Yeah, maybe that's why it feels more separated, why they feel more like 2 separate things, because part 1's all about that mystery.
Yeah.
About what is the game station? Why are people getting killed like this? Why is this woman plugged in, and why is she blind? And who are the masters and all that stuff? And then you kind of get all the answers at the end of that episode. And then Part in Other Ways is just the payoff, where this feels more like just a naturally woven story that's just been cut in the middle.
Yeah.
You could watch you could stitch these 2 episodes together into a film and it would kind of work.
Yeah.
Where I don't know if that would necessarily work with Bad Wolf and Parting of the Ways, because it would feel a bit tonally strange.
I agree, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you feel about Tennant's Doctor then?
Tenth Doctor?
I know you like Eccleston's Doctor a lot.
Yeah.
How does he compare? He's very different, isn't he?
He is very different. I mean, one of the things that I like in my own little headcanon is that even though the Doctor can't necessarily choose what he looks like he's not there on a character creation screen, do you know what I mean? Like picking the length of his nose and stuff. I like the idea that the Doctor can somewhat inadvertently decide who he's going to turn into.
Yeah.
Based on his experiences in this incarnation. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I feel like...
I mean, we kind of get that later on with Capaldi, don't we? Where he's like, I've seen this face before, and therefore I've kind of not chosen it, but it's...
kind of inadvertently chosen it. It's kind of like a subconscious message I left for myself.
Yeah.
But there's that thing of later on, like... Capaldi, like the 12th Doctor, starts off very rough, doesn't he? He's not a people person. He openly sacrifices people. He's not a hugger. And he comes around through this arc of being really lovely and really friendly and like a family man almost. And then the message he leaves for himself for his next incarnation is never be cruel, never be cowardly, always be kind, things like that. And then I feel like those are qualities that are inherited by the 13th Doctor.
Yeah.
And I feel like maybe the 11th Doctor's whimsiness and his almost childlike quality is offset by that of the 12th Doctor. So I feel like whatever Doctor we're with at the moment, his or her experiences often lead them into who they're going to be next.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like this is where... I don't necessarily think that applied to Classic Who, but I feel like this is where that started, where I feel like our 10th Doctor is who he is because of the 9th Doctor's experiences.
Yeah.
He was very obviously, from the Time War, he was very, again, like rough around the edges. He was very blunt. He was quite funny and he was sarcastic and he was cheeky, but if you got on his bad side, he would bite your head off, and he was very, the working class Doctor.
Yeah.
But he wasn't a romantic.
No.
In that way. He and Rose clearly had a love for each other, but it never came across as romantic to me. And there is that line, isn't there, in Aliens of London, where that copper says, like, is your relationship sexual in nature? And they're both like, no, it's not. I feel like if that question was asked in this series, even though the Doctor would be like, no, I feel like Rose would be like, maybe.
Yeah.
I feel like the Doctor turned himself into who he thinks Rose wants him to be.
I can see
Especially
that,
because the
yeah.
end of series 1 or the latter half has the whole thing with Jack, with he's like you but with dancing and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like he inadvertently became who he thinks Rose wants him to be.
Yeah, I can see that.
And that's a really interesting through line that's never, it might not be intentional at all. It might not be anybody's actual like aim, and it's just something I've made up, but that's an idea that I like, and it kind of works in my own headcanon. It's not like something that happened once. It kind of has been a through line throughout the whole thing, and I kind of like that.
Yeah, I can see
Again,
that,
with like the
definitely.
14th Doctor carrying all the trauma of Flux and all that stuff as well, because he still hasn't processed everything with the Time War, and then he takes that time to chill, and then by the time you get to 15, he's a lot more...
He's more like
He's more
got a better
open.
temper, isn't he?
He does, and he still obviously displays those elements of darkness when he needs to, but he's more open about his emotions. He doesn't bottle things up as much. He opens up to people. He doesn't play himself off to be this mysterious godlike person. He's just a man.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't want to get too into that because I'm sure we'll talk about that soon. But yeah, that's something I like. I feel like I'm monologuing. Go on, 10th Doctor.
It's so different because we kind of see his arrogance a little bit in this, but the
Yes.
next, I think after he obviously loses Rose,
Yes,
I think that he has to,
it gets worse.
yeah, and I don't even think necessarily she's someone who, because like with Donna, you could tell he would be arrogant and she would kind of bring him down a bit,
Yeah,
you know.
she wouldn't let him get away with it.
Yeah, whereas I don't think Rose was like that. I think she would kind of feed into it.
Yeah,
But he was. They were both kind of like
Rose-
giddy school children, weren't they?
Rose sees the pair of them as like a little Bonnie and Clyde kind of thing.
Yeah.
She's like, this is my sexy spaceman, and he saves the day, and I'm there with him, and we have these fun adventures together. And I think she feeds into his ego, and he likes that.
I think it's quite interesting as well how I mean we'll get on to Rose, but how she has said a couple of times, but later on in the finale of this series about how the Doctor needs her,
Yeah.
and maybe that kind of holds him back a little bit. That maybe he thinks he does need her, and
Yeah.
therefore he's not like I doing this all by myself. I don't need anyone. He's like, yeah, I do need Rose.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what's holding him back. But yeah, it's so difficult because I love the way David Tennant plays the Doctor. I think he's so brilliant. He's such a brilliant actor.
Yeah.
And I love all the little nuances and how he can his little cheeky faces he does.
That's the thing. There are things I like and there are things I don't like about this incarnation of the character. But one of my complaints for the 10th Doctor will never, ever be David Tennant.
Oh, yeah, God, no. I don't think anybody will.
I don't think he's ever done a thing wrong in this role.
I agree. I think there's... And it's not that it's... I don't think it's good. It's just... I, again, have said before, I struggle kind of with seeing the Doctor this way. He's not as bad in this season, so I think that's why I like him more than in the later ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's definitely showing... And he's quite... what's the word? Like, he's quite willing to let people die.
Yeah, well, obviously, there's a thing. His first episode, The Christmas Invasion, there's that moment at the end where he essentially kills the Sycorax leader. And he says, no second chances, I'm that kind of a man.
Yeah.
And I remember when me and Rob watched that, and I remember thinking, like, as a kid, I used to watch that, and I think, it's weird he says that, because the Doctor always goes on to be a man who gives second chances.
Yeah.
I don't know if he does, though.
No.
Because, again, there's that thing of, as a kid, I always felt that way, because I always saw the Doctor as the one person. But then, looking at this incarnation, I'm like, I don't know.
He really doesn't, does he?
I think even though he does get more arrogant as time goes on, I do think he does mellow out as well.
Yeah.
But in this series, there's the bit like where he's talking to Finch in School Reunion, and he says, basically, I'm going to find out what your plan is, and if I don't like it, I'm going to stop you.
Yeah.
And he tells him, like, you get one chance, that's it. He says, I used to have so much mercy, but no, one warning, that's all you get. And he's essentially making threats.
It's so interesting, though, because you would expect that. You would expect that to come from him more from Series 2 onwards, after losing Rose. But
Yeah.
after series 1, not that they didn't suffer losses, but it was nothing massive.
This is where I'm like,
So it's kind of like, where is this darkness and hatred come from?
this is where this characterization's a bit weird for me, is the fact that if it was like either he starts off that way and then he mellows out, or he starts off nicer and then he slowly turns that way, it'd make more sense. But it's kind of all over the place, because that moment, obviously you got Christmas Invasion, no second chances, that kind of a man. Then you got New Earth, where he proceeds to give Cassandra many chances. Tooth and Claw doesn't really come into play. Then you got School Reunion, where he's like, no, one chance, that's it. And then you got Cybermen, where he's trying to convince Lumic to, he essentially tries to give him a second chance.
Yeah.
And then you've got the Idiot's Lantern, where he doesn't really care that Magpie's dead. But he cares as soon as, I mean, that's a different issue in and of itself. He only seems to like truly care once Rose is taken, once there's something at stake for him.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, that's me. If it was a slow arc either way, it'd be a bit more naturally woven in. But he seems to kind of backpedal and go back and forward all the time.
I mean, I could be wrong, but thinking on it, do you think he is
a narcissist?
No. Do you think he's gives humans more chances? Because
Than aliens?
Cassandra, she was a human.
Yeah.
Lumin, human.
Lumic.
Lumin.
Lumen's from Severance.
Well, I didn't know that. I haven't seen it, but yeah, Lumic, he's human.
Yeah.
Do you think he's harsher on other aliens, and he kind of
that's actually really interesting, because I never thought about that, but people always do describe the 10th Doctor as the most human incarnation of the character. He's probably the version of the character that would most likely blend in to
I guess
modern society. So I do wonder whether he, maybe because of Rose, like I said, he turned into who he thinks Rose wants him to be.
Yeah.
And, the Doctor says, but when Rose tried to invite him for dinner or whatever, the 9th Doctor, and he said, no, I don't do that.
Yeah.
But the 10th Doctor does do that. And it's that thing of maybe he just wants to fit in here. Maybe he wants to be one of them. And that's why, maybe you're right. Maybe he gives humans more chances than he gives anyone else, because he sees them as one of his own, or maybe a work in progress. Because who is it? Is it Matt Smith that says like I put a lot of work into it, like just regarding the Earth?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting as well, I guess, because in not always, but most of the cases, a human taking advantage of another human is a terrible trait, but lots of humans do.
Yeah.
Whereas, and they're generally equally planed, but when you're looking at like, I don't know, what are they called, the Krillatane, they're a superior race that have come down and are taken advantage. So maybe he's like, well, you should know better than to do this, and therefore I'm only giving you one chance. Whereas like humans, he's kind of like, well, you're known for doing this and making this mistake, so I'm warning you, don't do it again.
That's fair, but I have a counter argument. Harriet Jones.
Yeah, he was so harsh on Harriet.
Harriet obviously authorized for Torchwood to destroy the Sycorax ship as they were retreating, and he didn't like that so much that he essentially deposed her with 6 words. I
don't think that was the reason, though. I think that was strike 1. I think strike 2 was her questioning him. I think her going like, no, you couldn't. Me
and Rob spoke about this when we covered the episode. Yeah,
I think that was strike 2.
So you think it's ego that came in then?
Yeah, I think it was ego, but also.
So that was the second chance.
Yeah, I think she tested him. He gives her the first chance. He was going to let her go, but the fact that she
says even. I don't think even you are capable of that.
Yeah, if she'd been more humbled by what he'd said.
Yeah.
And said, I was doing it for the Earth. I thought that they were going to, do worse. I'm sorry, I made a mistake. I feel like he wouldn't have stepped in. But the fact that she instantly snapped back, like, I don't think you could do that. He was like, well,
yeah,
you had your chance.
I think he says, don't you dare challenge me, Harriet Jones. Yeah. Like, I'm a brand new man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think...
No, that's in... Yeah, okay, fair enough. I counted your rebuttal, fair enough.
Yeah. But yeah, so that would be... I mean, I can't retain all the information through the series. There's probably other circumstances where he hasn't. But, I mean, even if you look at things like the Satan Pit, he gives Satan one chance.
Fair play to the Doctor. As arrogant as he even gave Satan a chance.
He even gives Satan a chance.
Yeah.
So I think generally...
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah, with the 10th Doctor, though, like I say, he is, let's be honest, fan favourite.
Yeah, oh God,
I feel like you ask
definitely,
people who their favourite Doctor is, it's either Tom Baker or it's David Tennant.
And their favourite companion...
Is normally Rose.
Or Sarah Jane.
Yeah, fair. Yeah.
Which we get.
Yeah, I mean, we get both, don't we?
Yeah. Yeah. So speaking of Rose, how do you feel she is? Because she's quite different in this season.
Yeah, I don't like her as much in this series.
I think she's more empowered, whereas...
She is. I just don't like... I don't like that. It's like...
know your worth, Rose.
Yeah, I'm like... I like their relationship conceptually. I like the fact that they're now more of a romantic pairing and they have this kind of Bonnie and Clyde thing going on where they just like trot around the universe thinking that the world is their playground and they're essentially playing with other people's lives.
Yeah.
I don't like it as in morally.
But it makes
I think
sense.
they're both bad people, but I like it thematically and I think it makes for interesting storytelling and it's an interesting way for these two characters to interact and for there to be consequences.
Yeah.
Rose as a character, even though she's always been flawed, I like Rose as a character a lot more in Series 1 than I do in Series 2.
Because I think it's quite interesting here because I feel with the start of this season, Rose and the Doctor are very cutesy.
Oh,
they're
yeah,
very
yeah.
sickly. But as it goes on, I feel they mellow out a little bit. I think it's more...
it's peaks and troughs.
I think it starts with like initial... Like,
because there's a bit in New
flirtation.
Earth. There's the bit in New Earth, isn't there, where they're like lying on the grass.
Yeah.
And she's like, "You're so different." He's like, "New doctor," and all
and she's
that
like,
stuff. Yeah, and
it feels like a new relationship, but by the end,
it does. Yeah.
But by the end of the series, I don't think that's the case. I feel like they understand each other better, and it's less about showing off for each other to try and get each other to like each other. I feel like as it goes on, I feel like they kind of not grow, but they become more confident in themselves. Example again with Rose. Do you mean she the Doctor shows her more things. He relies on her, like at the Army of Ghosts.
Yeah.
He's like, whilst I'm doing this, can you do this for me? And Jackie even comments like, you look like him now. Like you're taking on his traits.
Yeah.
So, because I know, like with other companions, you're not such a fan of that, are you? Like I know Clara kind of went down the same path.
I don't mind them having agency and them, stepping up to the plate and basically because I'm. It's not as if I need all companions to just sit there and ask questions.
Yeah.
I don't like it when the companions think of themselves as an equal to the Doctor.
Yeah.
And when I say I don't like it, I mean it means I don't like them as a person. Not necessarily. I'm not saying it's bad writing. It's just like soon as Clara starts doing that, when she's just swept off her feet and she's having a good time, it's cool. Soon as she starts dressing the Doctor down as if she's better than him. And again, I don't mean like Donna knocking 10 down a peg. I mean talking as if she's morally superior to him. That is when I'm like, who are you? Do you know what I mean? I feel a bit like you are not in the right position to be doing this. And I feel like Rose... I don't think she quite gets there. Rose is not as bad as Clara, but...
I mean, I think Rose loves the Doctor too much to do that.
Yes, that's what I mean. Rose is trying to be on equal footing to him.
Yeah, but she's...
Where I feel like Clara tries to be him.
I don't know. I think Rose is trying to be it, but I think the difference is Rose is still trying. She's trying to impress him, but she doesn't want to piss him off. Whereas Clara isn't afraid to do that, and that's why I like her because she's. I mean, there was many cases. Again, we'll get into that when we get there, but where she does dress him down, and she's right, and he needs to take it on board, whereas Rose would never do that with Lieutenant.
For me,
Doctor.
I mean, I don't want to talk about Clara too much because obviously that's like way down the line. But like, I don't mind it like after like Kill the Moon when she has a go at him and all that stuff. That's fine because the Doctor made a mistake.
Yeah.
He did a bad thing. She calls him out for it. That's fair enough. I think more of like, I don't know, the way she treats him in Dark Water. Again, I
I'm
know
on board with
I know,
that.
like, it makes sense based on what happens, but it's, I don't know, just the way she behaves, I don't really like. I do agree with you, though, going back to Rose, about she feels like she's constantly trying to impress him. Because if you look at the finale, you look at Army of Ghosts, and obviously all they know is that there are ghosts appearing, and the Doctor's trying to build this machine to try and triangulate where they've come from. And Rose kind of, like, scratches her and she's like, I don't suppose this is, like, the Gelth, is it?
Yeah.
And the Doctor's like,
No,
because they came from the Rift, but this is happening all over the world. And she's like, oh, right, okay. And she
Yeah.
just stops. But it's like, there is nothing to suggest this is the Gelth other than the fact that they look like ghosts.
Yeah.
But Rose is trying to use what knowledge she has
She's
to
trying
put
to do
herself.
what he does,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah. And that even happens early on. You look at the Christmas invasion. Obviously, I know that's slightly different circumstances because the Doctor's out of action and she's not trying to impress him per se. But when they're on the Sycorax ship, you know, when she's just spouting nonsense and she's saying, like, Article 5 of the Shadow Proclamation and the Treaty of the Slitheen, and the Sycorax are just laughing at her because she's just spouting stuff she knows.
I mean, she does it a lot because, I mean, in Army of Ghosts, obviously the Doctor and Jackie go off and she puts on the jacket and she has the paper.
Psychic paper, yeah.
In Idiot's Lantern, she does the same thing. The Doctor kind of runs off and then she goes
Yeah.
another way. She doesn't
The
follow
domestic
him.
approach.
Well, not even that. Because she
That's
looks
what
at
she calls it.
She looks at the back of the TV, doesn't she? And then
Yeah,
she
yeah.
goes to confront Magpie.
Yeah. To be honest, I wasn't even thinking of that part in Idiot's Lantern. I was thinking of just when she's like only an idiot hands the
Oh,
Union
yeah.
flag upside down.
But I'm on about
Get to it.
going off on her own. There was another one as well. Fear Her, same thing.
Yeah, I will say, to be fair with Fear, the Doctor was incapacitated. Like, she had to do something.
I guess, but she kind of went off on her own before that. She's not with him the whole time. She kind of walks off and speaks to people.
but that's I don't mind that. I don't see that as like a character flaw.
No, I don't think it is a character flaw.
I think
but
some
it
of the things
shows that
later on,
she's
like,
more
I feel
comfortable.
like it's maybe a bit of a flaw because I remember even as a kid watching Army of Ghosts, when she steps out with the lab coat and the psychic paper, maybe it's just hindsight because I know the psychic paper doesn't work on
on Torchwood.
Rajesh or whatever his name is, but yeah, there's a part of me that's like, no, you should just stay in the TARDIS.
Well, I
I don't know why you're doing this.
But that's why I quite like that, because even though she's like, I'm going to do what the Doctor does, I'm going to investigate. I think her, not lack of knowledge, but not quite knowing her opponents and predicting them, that shows with Torchwood. Do you mean the
Yeah.
Doctor probably would have known that Torchwood would have had that training,
Yeah.
so wouldn't have even tried. Do you mean when he comes out the TARDIS, he puts his hands up, he knows who he's dealing with.
Yeah.
So whereas maybe Rose's lack of experience would cause her to take a risk, which probably wouldn't pay off.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I just think it's the same thing with how she kind of gets, sucked into the void. Again, the Doctor wouldn't have taken that risk.
Yeah.
But she's trying to show him, look, it's fine. My side is going down, but I'm going to fix it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think she's trying to take those steps to impress him,
But she doesn't know her own limitations, I think.
No.
Yeah. No, I agree, yeah. And that's what I mean. Those are the elements. This is where I find it hard to separate when I don't like something Rose does because I think that was stupid. Why did you do that? Versus when I don't like something she does because I'm like, I wouldn't have written it that way.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That's fair, yeah.
And most of the time it's not because of the writing.
Yeah,
It's because I'm like, you stupid. I'm just like, you're an awful person.
yeah. Well, I mean, example. I think we said when we watched Idiot's Lantern when she goes off with Magpie,
Yes.
and it's like, why are you doing this? You haven't told anyone where you're going. You're going in the middle of the night
Yeah.
to a random place. What are you
To
doing?
the man you're already suspicious of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're on your own. Do you mean you're not fighting with another? It's bad enough when you're fighting with another human. You could be fighting with aliens here.
Yeah.
You're so out of your depth.
Yeah, no, 100%.
But I think it's interesting because maybe whatever, but she feels so much older in this series.
She does. And in reality, she's 20.
Well, she's supposed to be a year older. I don't think that's the case.
That's what I mean. She's 19 in series 1. She's supposed to be 20 here.
She feels like in her mid-20s in this.
Yeah, well, I guess is that thing we don't know how much time has passed in the TARDIS.
That's true.
Do you know what I mean? That's one of those wibbly-wobbly things, because it's like, again, not to skip forward too much, but Amy and Rory travelled with the 11th Doctor for what they say in... Which story is it? Might be like Power of Three. or Dinosaurs in a Spaceship. I can't remember. It's one of those ones in Series 7. And they say, we reckon it's been about 10 years.
Yeah.
Which is hard because obviously they can't actually keep track of time in the TARDIS.
Yeah.
But obviously based on the fact that they age faster than everyone in their lives, because whenever they go home, they always go home like a day or two later, but they've been off for weeks. They reckon it's been about 10 years. And it's that thing, we don't really know. She could have been travelling with Rose now. She could have been travelling with the Doctor for like a year.
Yeah.
But it could have been 5 years.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? She could be like 25.
And they seem like the kind of the couple that would not be het up on time. They just be jumping on one thing to another. They're not actually thinking like, a year or two or whatever has passed at this point.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting because Jackie brings up how much she's changed.
I was going to say, I think that's a nice segue actually to get to Jackie, just because I feel so bad for Jackie.
I do.
I know, right? So obviously, me and Rob watched Love and Monsters. I know you didn't watch it. I don't know how much you remember.
I remember a fair amount.
But there's that conversation that Elton has with Jackie, and she's basically, it's really sad because she kind of implies that like she never knows when Rose is coming back, and soon as she starts to kind of get used to her not being there, she starts to feel like she can be herself again.
Yeah.
She's being Jackie, she's being flirty, she's being cheeky, and she's doing all this stuff. And then as soon as she gets a phone call from Rose, she has to stop being Jackie Tyler, and she has to start being mum again.
Yeah.
But there's that thing of never knowing when she's going to come back. When Rose says, hey, 10 seconds would have passed and we'll come back. And that's series 1, isn't it? And she sits there, she counts 10 seconds. Nothing happens.
Yeah.
And it's that thing. Rose could come back in 2 days and it's fine. It's just like she's gone away. She's gone over her friends for a couple of days. It could be 6 months.
Well,
Do you know what I mean? In the events of Aliens of London, it was a year, wasn't it? Obviously, that was way worse because Jackie didn't even know where she was.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's that thing of never knowing when she's going to come back. And it's like her whole life is put on hold. And as soon as she kind of gets used to it and starts some element of normalcy in her life, Rose rocks up and then just throws it all away again.
Yeah.
Kind of like shakes the table and...
Not saying that she would want to move on, but she couldn't move on, could she?
Well, no, of course not. No.
She couldn't... Do you mean if she hated where she lived, she couldn't move?
Of course, yeah.
Do you mean if she found someone else she fell in love with, how would Rose take that? Do you mean if she moved on to someone else?
Imagine Rose rocking up being like, Mum, I'm home. And then it's like her and Elton are there and she's like, oh, yeah, this is your new stepdad.
Yeah. Do you mean...
Yeah.
So you feel for her so much. And again... I love things like this. I think it's so interesting. I know we've said about in the new series as well that I want to know more about not only what happens to the companions once the Doctor goes out of their lives, but also what happens to the companions' families and friends when they leave. It's the same with Mickey.
Yeah.
Obviously, and it takes so much of a toll on him that he decides to stay in the parallel universe.
We get some great Mickey characterization this series.
So good.
Like Mickey has a bit of an arc from Rose up to Parting of the Ways, between him being like, stay away from him, he's a thing, up to the moment where he, as he describes in this series, saves the universe in a big yellow truck or whatever. There's a nice amount of progression there, but then Mickey from School Reunion up to Doomsday, he's so different.
He is.
And it's great, and a lot of that would have happened off screen in the time he was in the parallel Earth. But even then, I feel like Mickey in Girl in the Fireplace versus Mickey in Rise of the Cybermen, he's still not quite there yet.
No,
but he's the way when Ricky dies, and Mickey essentially says, "Look, I'm not trying to replace him, but your world lost its Ricky. I'm not going to try and be him, but maybe I can fight in his place," type of thing.
Yeah.
And he has this moment. I don't know if he would have done that at the beginning of the series.
No, but I think he's hit that point of he has the same thing of as Jackie is. He's been stuck in a limbo this whole time.
Yeah.
And even though it's a difficult decision, he sees the way out.
Yeah.
And he's like, there's no contact with her once I go, and even though I will lose her completely, it means I'm free. That's
true, yeah, because that's really sad because which episode is it? Boomtown, when Mickey says like he's going out with Trisha Delaney or whatever, and he says, what do you expect, Rose? Do you expect me to wait for you forever because I will?
Yeah.
And that's really sad, and it's
so
really
sad.
heartbreaking, and Rose knows that, and she takes advantage of that fact.
Yeah.
And yeah, the fact that you're right, Mickey sees this as, I can get out of this
Yeah.
if I do this, and I can do something right. I can do something good. I think Mickey carries guilt. I think he sees Ricky's death as his fault,
Yeah.
or at least him being partially responsible for it. So I think in his mind, this is his way of making up for it and getting himself out of this scenario. But Jackie doesn't really have that out,
No.
at least until, well,
Well,
the end of Doomsday.
Yeah.
But even then, that wasn't necessarily by choice. But yeah, I think tying this all back to Rose and the Doctor, I think it's that thing of those two, like we said, play around in the universe like it's their play box.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And we're not even just talking about the people they meet in an episode, the companion of the episode or the historical figure or whoever the red shirts are that get killed off. Even the people in Rose's life. Let's be honest, when Rose goes home, the only people she ever speaks to are Jackie and Mickey.
Yeah.
She doesn't even talk to, what's her friend? Tish,
Yeah.
or whatever her name is. Or Shireen, that's it. Shireen, yeah.
You're thinking of Trisha Delaney, aren't you?
No, I think I was thinking of Tish. That's Martha's sister.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so Rose doesn't even really keep up with her friends.
No.
Her friends are just out of her life once she starts traveling with the Doctor. So those two characters are the only thing keeping Rose there. And that's when Jackie says, doesn't she?
Yeah.
She says, when I die,
Why would
there's going to be no reason for you to come back here anymore.
Especially because Mickey's gone as well, so
Yeah.
all that's left is Jackie. And I guess that's also a thing of, oh God, you just feel so bad for her because she can't tell anyone. Who the hell's going to believe her? The only person who did was Elton, and he used it to get to the Doctor.
Yeah, I know, it's awful.
It's like she can't say, hi Jackie, how's your daughter? Where is she? And it's like,
Yeah.
I haven't seen her in 2 years. I don't know where she is.
Yeah.
And she's dealing with it all by herself. At least when Mickey was there, she kind of had a confidant. But
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because she didn't get on with Mickey in the beginning in series 1,
No.
but after the events of Aliens of London, they kind of, you're right, they kind of became confidants to each other.
yeah,
But obviously that's kind of gone now. But it's
it's brought.
yeah,
Obviously,
it does come back full circle, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think it's really interesting in the way these characters do this, and just to hint towards series 4. It's mentioned by a character in that series how the Doctor basically turns his friends into warriors who'll fight on his behalf,
yeah,
and he says basically you get to keep your hands clean, and you can say, oh, I didn't murder anybody, but everyone you meet wants to be a warrior and everyone wants to fight in your name.
yeah,
And even though it's not literal fighting, as in like a gunfight or something, that is what Rose is doing here.
oh yeah, completely.
That's what Clara will go on to do. That's what Mickey goes on to do. He fights with Jake in the Doctor's name. That's what Sarah Jane does while she's having the Sarah Jane adventures. That's what Jack is doing over at Torchwood.
Yeah.
That's what all these people are fighting in the Doctor's name. They're being the Doctor while he's not around.
Yeah, and that's the thing because, I mean, Jackie even mentions in Army of Ghosts, in that thing of like, well, when you're here, stuff still happens,
Yeah.
and you.
If only he was present for Children of Earth, maybe we would have had a different payoff.
It's like, and when you're not around, other people have got to deal with it. Hence Torchwood.
Yeah.
So it's so interesting. But I think the main thing I take from series 2 and about the Doctor and Rose, obviously Rose, we lose her as a companion.
Yeah.
But I think they're so absorbed in their relationship that they're quite selfish and they don't seem to think of the ramifications of their actions as much.
Yeah.
And like you said, very much like the universe is their toy box. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's a good way to describe it, yeah.
But I think it's interesting as well, like the way you put it in saying that Rose feels like the Doctor needs her and he almost believes it himself. But I think the difference between these two characters here is once they get separated, the Doctor, even though he's trying to get over it, he learns that he can get on without her. And because obviously he goes on to have adventures for ages afterwards with new companions and doing stuff on his own. Rose spends her entire existence on that parallel Earth trying to get back.
Yeah, but I think that's the case for all companions. And I think it's quite refreshing when we find a companion that doesn't. Again, that's why I quite like Ruby's arc a little bit. I know that's later down the line, but because she's one of the few companions that doesn't. Other than like Dan, Dan's the same.
Yeah.
He's had enough. He doesn't want it anymore. But even Martha, do you mean she's had enough of the doctor, but she's not had enough of that life?
Yeah, that's true.
So, yeah, I think it's interesting.
You could argue the same thing with Ruby, though, because Ruby works for UNIT.
Yeah, but even she says she kind of does it out of a...
Oh, yeah. There was that moment in Lucky Day, wasn't there, where she was like, yeah, do you know what? I need a holiday.
Yeah.
I need some time away.
Also, I guess if you've been away for a while and you're young and you're looking for a job and you're like, well, I could go work, not that it's bad, but I could go work in a local cafe for like not great pay, or UNIT said, I've got expertise on this, we could pay you a decent amount and protect you.
Yeah.
And she has people who understand what she's been through.
That's true.
You would go there, wouldn't you?
I'm reminded of something that Rory says when he says to the doctor, do you know why you're dangerous? You make people want to impress you.
Yeah, well, it's so true. And I think that's so well written because it is true.
Yeah. No, 100%.
Right, well, do you want to do quiz?
Oh, dear. Okay.
Are you ready?
No, but yeah.
So, like last time, you've got 2 questions per story. So, in the 2-parters, I've classed that as one story.
Okay.
So, altogether, 20 questions.
Are you keeping track of my score? Do you want me to keep track of my score?
If you could.
1 second.
Otherwise, I'm going to have to bounce around a little.
That's fine. Let me just open some notes.
Again,
We're organised here.
I've tried to make it challenging. Play along if you're listening. See how many you get. Again, these just a little thing. If you didn't listen to the last series roundup, it's really hard to make questions for Connor because his knowledge on Doctor Who is big.
Hey.
So I wanted it to be challenging enough.
Yeah.
But not be impossible. Some of these questions may be a little bit impossible, but we like to learn.
Okay.
So, yeah. So we'll start off with questions from New Earth.
Yeah.
So, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Question 1. What disease did the mayor have?
The mayor had petrifold regression.
Yes. Oh my God, what is wrong with you? Okay, this one's an easy one.
Yeah.
What ballroom dance of Brazilian origin was mentioned in this episode?
Samba.
Yeah.
2 hearts. I'm beating out of samba. Yeah.
Again, I knew if I said that, you would get it. I'll try to word it a little different. Okay. Claw. The oil of which evergreen plant was used to deter the werewolf?
Mistletoe?
Yes.
Cool.
Okay. Which 2 women set up Torchwood? I want full.
Which 2 women?
Which 2 women?
I mean, Queen Victoria.
Yes.
And what other woman?
Well, there's one other woman left at the end. She sets
Do they set it up together?
Yeah, because
Sir Robert's wife. Her.
Yeah.
Oh crap.
I want,
Shit,
I want full name.
Oh, what's her name? It's like Isabel something. Mm-hmm. Do you want a surname?
Yep. I want title as well.
Lady Isabel.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh no. Lady Isabel. I'm trying to remember what Robert's last name is. Roberts. Because he's Sir Robert, isn't he? Sir Robert. Oh, this is going to be so annoying. You're going to tell me and I'm going to kick myself.
I'm going to be harsh as well because you've done well so far. So I will, if you don't get this, I won't give you a point.
Okay.
Because let's be fair, Queen Victoria was an easy one.
Yes, that's fair. Oh, man. Oh, what can I remember? I don't know. Lady Isabel Redgrave. MacLeish. Damn it. Okay.
I'm surprised. I mean, they are in Scotland. I would have thought you would have gone a little bit more Scottish.
Macbeth. Yeah, okay.
Closer, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, school reunion. What is the name of the kid who, for medical reasons, can't eat chips?
Oh, that's... no, not Milo. Milo's the other one. Kenny.
Yeah, Kenny. Okay. In the cafe, when Rose is getting jealous of Sarah Jane and the doctor, what does Mickey recommend she does?
Oh. He says, like what... Like... something about the chips, isn't it? She's eating the chips, and he says something like, "I go easy on the chips" or something like that.
Ease up on the chips.
Yeah.
Okay. In The Girl in the Fireplace, who was Renette the mistress of?
King Louis XV.
Yeah. I also learned, fun fact, whilst doing research on this, Renette in French means little queen.
Does it?
That's why she got the nickname for it.
Oh, yeah.
So you got it
Because
from-
Renette's not her actual name, is it?
No.
It's...
Begins with an L, I think.
Oh, I knew that again. Just doing history now.
It's like Leanne or something like that.
It's something French.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What name does the Doctor give the horse found on the spaceship?
Arthur.
Yeah. This is too easy for you, man. Okay, well, we're going a little bit...
We're going spicy now.
not too bad. What street does... Rise of the Cybermen / Age of Steel.
Yes.
What street does Ricky's nan live on?
Oh, I did know this. Is it Waterton Road or something? Or Waterton Street?
Yes, it's Waterton Street.
Yeah.
Oh, God, what is wrong with you?
What do you mean?
It's so hard to get questions for you. I want you to get something wrong.
Hey, don't
You got
worry.
one.
I need something to boost my ego because I'm still trying to recover from the fact that Rob made a fool out of me.
Rob, if you're listening, please, when you come back, absolutely obliterate him.
When Rob did it, I got one right.
Again, you could trust Rob because Rob's got good knowledge too. I don't have the knowledge that you have.
No, this is a good quiz because again, I know I will know these, but I don't know our average listener. I don't know if they'll know all these.
Maybe
so.
not. Okay. Again, Rise of the Cybermen, Age of Steel.
Mm-hmm.
What is the name of the rebel group that Ricky, Jake, and Angela are part of?
Oh, again, I wrote this down in the notes. Let me just try and remember. They are the Preachers?
Yes.
Yes.
Shit name.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
This one might be a little bit harder, but knowing you probably get it.
Right.
The Idiot's Lantern.
Yeah.
How much is Magpie Electronics selling TVs for?
Oh, that's a good question. Oh, no. You sell them cheap. We know that.
Well, semi-cheap. Cheap for nowadays, not cheap for then.
Well, yeah, no, but
Cheaper.
it's a thing in the story that he's selling them cheap, isn't it? Because he's
Yeah.
trying to spread them about. How much would he be selling them for cheap? I don't actually remember, so I'm going to have to try and use some logic here. And I'm like,
Okay.
I don't know, like 80 quid?
80 quid. He's selling that. Bear in mind, this is in the 50s.
Yeah.
80 quid in the 50s. Do you know how much that is?
I know it's a lot, but that's what I'm trying to, because I know he's selling it cheap, but trying to adjust for inflation as well is hard.
He's selling them £5 a pop.
Is he?
Yeah.
£5?
£5 a pop. I mean, that was a fair amount of money then.
Yeah, I know, but
I mean, bear in mind, some people didn't get paid that in a month.
okay, go on. Next.
I mean, you were on lower salary if that was the case, but do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Idiot's Lantern again. You'll know this one, but I thought it was fun.
Okay.
What does the Doctor tell the Inspector that he can't do?
Oh, you can't wrap your hand around your elbow and make your fingers touch or something like
Yeah. I was watching the episode earlier and I saw the man and it just made me laugh again. Okay. So, Impossible Planet, Satan Pit. What is the name of the impossible planet and the black hole it's, well, I would say surrounding or by, but...
Right, so the planet is called Crop Tour.
Yes.
You want the name of the black hole?
I do, yes.
Oh.
Go on, Carl. What does crop tour mean as well?
Oh, Rose likes it, doesn't she? What is it? Do I get a bonus point for that?
No. If you're doing badly, yes. But you're not, so no.
Joe, I can't even remember that either. Crop Tour. I remember Rose says, I like that.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it is, though.
I mean, I haven't even got that in my notes, but I remember
the
that.
devil's testicle or something.
No!
No, it's... oh, my God. Forget about that. I don't need... It's not worth anything. Black hole. What's the black hole called?
I'm expecting you to get that now.
The black hole...
This is hard.
Is it?
Well, I mean, it's very space age name.
Is it?
It's very
Right.
Doctor Who futuristic name.
Oh dear.
It's very like Apple / 26 name.
I don't get a point for crop tour.
No, because you can't even tell me what his nickname is.
Oh.
So no, I need both, and I'm being
Black
harsh.
hole is called. Oh, they say this in the episode, don't they?
Yeah.
You haven't just pulled this up on the TARDIS wiki.
No, they say it.
Okay.
I think. Oh, what's her name?
Scooty?
Ida.
Ida. Okay.
I think Ida says it. Because when they open it, she opens the stargazing thing. The
Yeah, that's when they
observatory.
see that one planet that's getting like
sucked
into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't.
So the black hole is called K37 Gem 5,
I wouldn't have got that.
and crop tor means bitter pill.
Bitter pill. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, who originally trapped Satan in the pit? What are the group of people who did it?
Oh.
I went hard on these. Do you know what? It was really hard to find these questions. It was either like really easy.
They mentioned that. What is it? A species name?
Yeah, he mentions the group of people that trap him.
Yeah. Is it like a species or is this just like a group name?
It's like a group of people. It's not a species.
Right.
It's like a not a covenant, but
Oh.
Do you mean-
Oh, that's hard.
you would have heard this because I remember hearing this. I did have a look on the TARDIS wiki, but I remember hearing this, so I was like, "That's in the episode."
Oh God. Okay. I mean, props if anyone remembers this.
I'm not gonna lie. The next couple of questions are quite hard.
Did you make up for those early questions?
I'm not gonna. Well, no. The next couple of questions are the last ones I did,
Oh, I see. Right.
which I had to do a lot of research on to try and find them.
Okay. It's not going to be like the Guardians or something like that, is it?
Is that your guess?
Yeah.
No, it's the Disciples of Light.
Yeah, I feel like that's something that's like mentioned once.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, disciple. Okay.
Okay.
Well, I'll remember that from now on, along with the bitter pill.
Yeah.
And what was it? Something K47 Gem 5 or something
No,
like that?
it was K37 Gem 5.
Oh, I was
And I
close.
wasn't even looking then. Okay. Love and Monsters.
No, I love this episode.
This is if you get these, I'll be well impressed.
Okay.
What was Elton's first job after leaving school?
Oh. Oh. When does he say this?
He says it like towards the start. He's like,
Is it when he's talking to the camera?
yeah.
Oh.
He's like, he says about what he does after leaving school, and then he meets Ursula.
Yeah, I mean, he meets Ursula because he finds her blog.
Yeah.
He likes football.
He does, and he likes
And he
a
like-
drink.
he likes
and
a drink
Spain.
in Spain.
Yeah, I was going to put that out. He's like,
I
I'm
would have
normal.
known-
I like football and a drink and Spain.
I would have known that because
but what I really like
it's a bit of a yellow.
is yellow, and then he just dances.
Yeah, I would have. If you asked me that, I would have known that because I remember Rob making a big deal about it. Like, this guy's meant to be an analogy for Doctor Who fans, but he likes football, a drink, and Spain. What was the question again? What was his first job?
What was his first job after leaving school?
Oh, Jesus. He's not going to be like a handyman, is he? He's going to be like a...
It's quite an official job.
Is it?
Well, not like, well, yeah, quite an official job. It's got a fancy name.
He's not a bricklayer then.
He's not a bricklayer. Do you seriously think Elton would be a bricklayer?
No, but I can't imagine him in insurance either.
I don't know, I could.
Oh God, this is hard. I thought I'd be all right with Love and Monsters.
Well, we'll see about the next one.
Oh God. Elton's first job is... I don't know, I'm going to have to guess. He was in quality assurance.
Incorrect. He was a transport manager at Rita Logistics.
Never would have guessed that. Rita Logistics.
Rita Logistics. He was a transport manager.
Wow, that's incredible.
Get you, Elton. Okay, so Love and Monsters.
I'm already doing worse than I was in the last quiz.
I did make some of these
Yeah.
harder.
Okay, go on.
Okay, where did the shadow that killed Elton's mum escape from?
Ooh. The elemental shade
Yeah.
that killed Elton's mother. The something halls.
Yeah.
Like the shrieking halls or something like that. The weeping halls? Something like that. What is it? Howling halls.
Yes,
Howling
you are
halls.
correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Howling halls. Okay, moves us on
Thank
to
God,
fear here.
I would have really kicked myself if I didn't get that, because that's one I know this.
I mean, the next question, see if you can work it out. I thought it was quite funny. Which council does Kel work for? And he doesn't mention this. I only noticed because when I was looking through it, I saw it put on his high vis.
Oh, you are joking.
It's got 2012 Olympics on the back, and on the front it's got the name of a council.
Is it a county?
It-
This better be a county,
Well,
because
where-
at least I can guess that. It's not going to...
Where was 2012 Olympics set?
London Council.
I want a bit more than that.
Well, that's what I mean. It's like, is it like the borough of London?
It's
Is it going to be like, I don't know, Surrey Council or some? Is that like the kind of thing you're looking for?
no, it's
South London Council,
Is that-
North London Council. Is this kind of like
on those lines, yeah.
right? Good God, you noticed this on his high vis.
I did.
You can get in the bin.
And
for
when I
this.
when I wrote it down, I was like, I was like, this is so evil. I love
Greater
it.
London Council.
Is that your final guess?
Yes.
It's not. It's East London Council.
It was one of the directions.
It was, yeah. Okay, this doesn't relate to the episode of Doctor Who.
That's a good start.
It relates to an episode of our podcast.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Who parachuted from a helicopter in the 2012 Olympics opening ceremony, as mentioned in Fear Her by me? Come on, I told you this.
This was Daniel Craig as the Queen, or the Queen. Or
As-
Daniel Craig.
As the Queen.
No, that's not what I meant. I remember you talking about James Bond and the Queen. The Queen wouldn't have parachuted. Daniel Craig.
They both did.
Oh.
I'll give you half.
Oh. Okay.
I told you that James Bond and technically the Queen didn't, but the opening ceremony.
Someone in a wig.
Yeah, someone in a wig. James Bond and the Queen parachuted from a helicopter.
Okay.
Come on, Connor, you should know that.
Well, yeah. I mean, I feel like I deserved that point. I knew what you were talking about.
Daniel Craig is the Queen.
I misspoke. Was it Daniel Craig?
I don't think so,
It
no.
was just someone that was supposed to be James Bond.
I think so, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's kind of crap.
I mean,
Come on, Daniel Craig. Come on, dude.
do you seriously think that, like, he... No.
2012, that was like Skyfall.
Yeah, do you think that he seriously would have risked him falling to his death
Well, no, he had
from
a
that
parachute.
height? Oh, yeah, because
I get
they're known for always opening.
I get not risking the Queen, but come on, Dan.
Oh, no. Leave him alone. I'm almost certain he was injured in Skyfall as well.
I mean, that's when he stopped liking it, wasn't it? Around then.
I mean, it was before that, but no, yeah, I'm almost certain he was badly injured in Skyfall, so definitely not. But yeah, right. Final two questions. Army of Ghosts and Doomsday. What is the gift that Rose gets Jackie made of?
I just want to go home. Oh.
It's said twice.
Yeah, I know. Because she asks the doctor, doesn't she?
Yeah, and then he says...
She goes, what's it made of? And he tells her, and then she repeats it to Jackie. Mm-hmm. Like, something oomium or something like that. It's like vibranium or just something along those lines.
I'm gonna want an answer.
Good God. Yeah, I don't have anything better. It's like vibrumium or something like that.
Bazoomium.
Bazoom. Yeah, I knew it. I knew it was something like that. Yeah.
And the final question.
Hold on. Say it one more time.
Bazoomium.
Bazoomium. Okay, like bazooka.
Like Bazoolium.
Or bazoolium.
Liam.
Not
Yeah.
bazoomium.
Oh, Liam, sorry. Bazoolium.
Bazoolium.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bazoolium.
Okay. I just want to make sure I remember this for future reference.
God, it's trying to retain all the information.
I retain all the information I get quizzed on. It's fine. It's there.
We'll see about that. I'll ask you later.
Can you ask me about the quiz from last time?
I would have, but I'm not going to lie. I've cleared it from my
Yeah, that's
phone.
fine. Yeah, go on.
Okay, final question.
Yeah.
If you get this, I'll be well impressed, because even I thought, damn, this
I don't
was
like my
harsh.
chances because I got a lot wrong here.
Where were the Magna clamps found?
Ooh. Did they mention that, did they?
Yep. It's when the doctor goes,
Yeah.
ooh, I like these.
Yeah. Because the other thing is like the Scathra something glider.
Yeah, it's like Jetta glider or something.
Yeah.
Where was that found? Somewhere in Scotland, I think. Or Surrey or something like that. Begins with an S. But no.
There's 2 name drops for Surrey now.
Yeah.
What was it? Where are the Magna clamps from?
Where were they found?
Is this something that's like
This
mentioned?
is mentioned by your favourite Yvonne.
Yeah, my favourite.
Your fave. She says where they found them.
Somewhere on Earth, is it?
Yep. I mean, it's Torchwood. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but it's not going to be like from like an alien species that dropped them or something.
Yeah, it was. The Magna clamps were
So it's where did we shoot these aliens down and find these Magna clamps type of thing?
kind of, yeah.
You're not going to give me a hint?
Nope.
Trying to remember. It's Yvonne that says
Okay,
it.
right. I'll give you one clue.
Yeah.
Wales.
Oh, e. Ooh, ee, ah, ooh, ee. Oh, it's
If you get this, I'll flip the table. Over there.
it's Mount Snowdon.
Fuck you, man. Fuck. Well, actually, where?
At the base?
Bitch. I don't think you should get that. I give you a clue.
You did give me a clue.
Yeah,
Should I take half point?
fine. Take half a point.
You narrowed it down to a country.
Yeah. Well, on Earth. I narrowed it down to Earth.
Well, you
Wales.
said Wales, so I assumed
Yeah.
Earth.
Well, you asked if it was Wales.
Yeah.
But yes, it was found in a space crash at the base of Mount Snowdon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So go on then. How did you do,
I'm
Connor?
tallying these up. Okay.
How did you all do as well? Anyone listening? Did you get many of these right? Did you think, come on, Connor, you should have got Bazoolium?
I got 12 out of 20, including my 2 half a points.
Yeah.
So 12 out of 20 with maths, 8 incorrect. God, that's bad, isn't it?
To be fair, some of these were hard, but then to be fair, some of these were easy.
Well,
I would have got some of them, but not
Yeah.
most of them, to be fair.
would you have got Bazoolium?
I wouldn't have. I might have got Kenny.
Would you have got K47 Gem 5 or whatever it was?
I would have remembered Gem 5, because I
Okay.
remembered that, but
Yeah.
what came before
Crop
it?
Tool, the bitter pill.
I would definitely have got that, yeah.
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 Wait, I got what did you have for question 4? Because I got that wrong. Sorry for everyone listening. I just want to
Okay.
learn this information now.
Which 2 women set up Torchwood?
Oh yeah, that was the woman, McLeish. That was it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lady Isabel McLeish.
Okay, what do you have for question 11? I just want to learn. Okay, I'm here to learn.
What's that one? How much do the TVs cost?
Oh, £5 a pop is what you said.
Yeah,
Okay.
£5 a pop.
13.
That's Bitter Pill.
Oh, is it okay?
And-
14.
Disciples of Light.
Okay, yeah, 15.
Transport Manager.
Okay. All right, yeah. Oh, okay. Transport manager. He doesn't look the type. Actually, yeah, he does.
Yeah, transport manager.
I just pictured him in that like double denim look he's got going on. Yeah, he does. Don't worry.
Yeah, put a little high vis on him and a little hard hat, and bam, transport
He loves
manager.
a drink. In Spain. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, well, thank you. I enjoyed you making me feel stupid.
To be fair, I think I started you off pretty easy.
You did. It got progressively more difficult.
It did. I didn't intend that.
I feel like Kel's council question was a bit unfair.
I couldn't give a shit. You could have worked it out yourself, mate. You could have known where the London Olympics were set.
I'm sure.
East London.
Apparently, yeah.
I don't even know if that's true. I'm assuming that's the case.
The thing is, that's not even where the Olympics were set. That's just where the torchbearer ran past, isn't it?
Yeah, but I guess he ran past two.
Yeah, I
So
know.
he didn't have much of the stretch left, and if it did, the doctor ran a long way.
He is known for running,
Yeah, but that's ridiculous.
particularly 10.
But then he should have passed it on to. The thought of like the torch would have had to have been passed on to someone else, but he just ran past them.
That's so
Like,
doctor.
who is this man?
That's so
He's just
doctor.
all the way into the stadium. There was like a celeb waiting in the wings to take it. And he was like, no. Yeah. So
Okay.
next, should we move on to our episode rankings?
Yes.
Yeah,
How did we do this last time? We broke it down into 3, didn't we?
we did. Yes.
So we got 13 episodes. We broke up our 2-parters into 2 episodes. I
Yeah.
know we cover them as one story, but we've broken the episodes down here. So we have 13 in the list.
So we have. I think we did best 5, worst 5, middle 3. I think that's what we did last time, wasn't it?
I don't know, but we can do that this time.
Sure. Just because 13.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, this feels right. Even though, anyway, splitting that, looking at this, I'm like, yeah, this feels like a fair, even. Like, this seems right.
I mean, I've put mine down, and I'm just a fence sitter anyway, so this would probably change tomorrow.
Okay.
But I tried to sit down and feel like rewatch them in my head and think how I felt. I think this is generally a good, like the bottom 3 and the top 3 or 4. I think are pretty solid. So do you want to go for your top
Top 5?
5?
So we doing my top 5, then your top 5?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So do you want to do your best one first and work down, or the other way around? We'll do best first.
Yeah, let's not overcomplicate this.
Yeah.
Okay, so my top 5 episodes, in order, from best, are The Girl in the Fireplace, Doomsday, The Impossible Planet,
Yeah.
School Reunion, and The Satan Pit.
Oh, that is so interesting.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. Do you want to hear mine?
Yeah, go.
Girl in the Fireplace.
Yeah.
Doomsday.
Yeah.
Impossible Planet.
Yeah.
Army of Ghosts.
Okay.
Satan Pit.
Okay. School Reunion didn't make your top 5.
No.
That surprises me.
I can't get over the bitchiness.
That's fair. I thought you'd like it just because Sarah Jane was in it.
I do. I love Sarah Jane, but yeah, it was too bitter for me. But yeah, that's really interesting.
That's very different to last time, isn't it? Because we had a very different list last time.
I mean, it wasn't that different. I think our favourites were the same, and our least favourites were the same.
No, because my favourite was Parting of the Ways. And you had that, like,
Oh
bit
yeah,
lower
at the
down.
bottom.
You had
But I
like,
think
you had like
generally-
Unquiet Dead at the top, and that was like in the middle of my list.
Yeah, I think generally they were similar. I mean, we'll see where we go from there.
Yeah. So middle 3,
Yeah,
The Age of Steel,
yeah,
Army of Ghosts,
yeah.
Rise of the Cybermen.
Okay, so my middle 3 are Age of Steel,
Yeah.
School Reunion,
Yeah.
and New Earth.
Okay. I'm surprised New Earth didn't make it to your bottom.
Sometimes I am as well.
Is that a testament to the ones below it?
There's a lot I like about New Earth. There's a lot
Yeah.
I really don't.
Yeah.
I'm trying to.
Nice rear bumper.
I hate that. I try and weigh up the fact that how it makes me feel thinking back, and I'm kind of like, oh, that's silly and cheesy, but
But at the same
My
time,
next
that
ones-
ending with Cassandra
it's
is nice. It's
that's
really
what
nice.
I like, yeah,
Yeah.
and kind of her arc.
telling her, like, the last person to ever tell herself that she was beautiful was herself.
Yeah, it's kind of sad.
It's sad, but it's also so in character for someone like
Yeah.
Cassandra. It's, yeah.
yeah.
Bottom 5? Mm-hmm. Love and Monsters,
Yeah,
New Earth,
yeah.
Tooth and Claw, The Idiot's Lantern, and Fear Her.
Okay, well, they're very different here.
Okay.
Very different. So, my 5 are Rise of the Cybermen.
Okay.
I put that below New Earth only because I can't deal with the hamminess of beloved Roger Lloyd Pack.
Oh,
It's too...
From the grave.
Do you know what? I learned information earlier whilst doing the research. I'll promise I'll carry on with my list in a minute. The reason why he was in a wheelchair...
Oh, yeah, didn't he was injured or something, wasn't
yeah,
he?
he fell down the stairs and broke his ankle.
Yeah.
But he'd already been cast. So they were like, well, you're in a wheelchair now.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So my worst 5 are Rise of the Cyberman,
Yeah.
Tooth and Claw,
Mm-hmm.
Idiot's Lantern,
Yeah.
Fear Her, Love and Monsters.
Love Monsters is not the worst.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Fear Her is so much worse.
I'm questioning Fear Her. You might be right. Love and Monsters has the worst. It is just... Do you know what? I watched clips of it earlier, and my God, the scene where they're doing the Scooby-Doo thing. And
I
running,
love that bit. I love it.
I hate it. And then him being like, oh, the Absorbaloff, just being the Absorbaloff. My God, despise it. It was so, so
I love
fiery.
when Rose throws the bucket and she's like, what are you doing? He's like, you said blue. I said not blue. I like Love and Monsters. Yeah. I tell you what I'm really surprised by is before we started this rewatch, you held that Cybermen two-parter in quite high regard. And I remember when we covered it, you said you liked it less. But I'm surprised that went from being like your highlights or one of your at least top 3 in that series to Rise of the Cybermen being in your bottom 5.
I forgot about that. The issue is I remembered the second half. I didn't really remember the first half.
You mostly remembered
much.
Age of Steel.
Yeah, and that's
Do you remember
high up
like
for
the bit
me.
with the preachers more than like
and
the Pete and
factories.
Jackie's?
Pete and Jackie's relationship, the factories, I remember, and like the blimp at the end. That was kind of what I remembered of it.
Right.
I forgot about the start and I know
What
that
about-
Mr. Crane being like, "Don't worry, sir, I'll get them." It's just too much.
What about Mickey going to talk to his nan?
I know, I like that. I remembered that as well.
Yeah.
Again, why I liked it,
Yeah.
and I like the fact that we get lots of Mickey, but I feel like we get more Mickey in the second one than the first one. Like the part that is. But yeah, I mean, I think I would say it's interesting, but fair that we both got Girl in the Fireplace first. I think that's generally thought to be the strongest episode of this series.
Yeah, it's funny. If you'd asked me to make this list before the rewatch, I actually think I might have had Impossible Planet Satan bit above it.
Really?
Yeah, but on this rewatch, there's no moment in the... do you know, I forget how emotional Doomsday is.
Yeah.
Obviously, everyone remembers it being devastating, but I'm like, maybe it's because I don't like Rose as much as most people. But I'm like, yeah, it's sad, but it doesn't affect me. Do you know what I mean? But then rewatching it, I was a bit like, oh, this is good. I mean, probably because again, Murray Gold's music does a lot of the heavy lifting as well. And David Tennant's like when Rose is getting pulled in, and David Tennant does his scream, and he's going, no, it's guttural, and yeah, it works for me a lot.
Yeah.
But nothing in this series makes me feel the way that last 5 minutes of The Girl in the Fireplace does.
I know.
When
it's
he
just...
goes back to find that she's going off to Paris for the last time, King Louis gives him the letter.
Yeah.
And then he reads it alone in the TARDIS. And then Rose asking him if he's okay. He says, I'm always okay. And then Mickey just dragging Rose away to show him around the TARDIS. Those last 5 minutes,
Brilliant.
Nothing in this series is as good as that to me.
Guess who wrote it?
Mr. Stevie Moff.
My favourite boy.
Yeah.
So good.
I think that's why, yeah, like I say, there's a lot of this, but it's funny. You say how, or how I thought last time our rankings were quite different, and you said they were quite similar. From what I remember, I think it was the inverse, though. I think this time our top 5 are very similar.
Yeah.
Last time our bottom 5 are very similar.
Yes, I agree. I think that was the case, yeah. Yeah, I think it's quite interesting. And the fact that we both had Doomsday as second as well. Again, the both of us had Impossible Planet and Satan Pit in our top 5 as well.
I'm surprised you put that high.
Do you know what? I kind of forgot about it and wasn't that bothered by it.
Yeah. I know a lot of people mix it with 42 because the aesthetics are quite similar.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people mix them up, and because 42 is such a new episode, I wonder if a lot of people kind of have that then reflected onto the Impossible Planet.
What I like about it, again, I completely forgot about it, really. It wasn't something I ever thought about. The main thing I remembered about it, which is bad, was just the Satan pit. Just the Satan in the pit.
The pit itself, yeah.
Yeah, and was just the Doctor speaking to him.
I mean, in reality, that's the last, 10 minutes?
Yeah, but the character development in this is brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, we get to learn about each character so quickly, and they get so much depth. I think that, you could easily, I know you've said before, but you could easily tell what they would do.
Yes.
And what kind of person they are.
You could take any one of these characters out of this story, throw them into a new scenario that you've written, and you would know how they would react.
That's what I mean. Like, there's so many episodes of Doctor Who where somebody kind of sacrifices themselves, and you're like,
And you feel nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not the case.
I think even Jefferson in this.
Yeah, it's not the case.
Like, Jefferson's made out to be like the hard-boiled soldier guy. Do you know what I mean, he's not the most like
No.
sensitive guy. Yet when he chooses to stay behind and he asks Zach if he can cut the oxygen out
To make it quick.
it quick, you do feel it. And it's I remember you said when we were watching the Sidemen 2-part and you were talking about the preachers and you said you like these characters.
Yeah.
And I said to you then, it was like, I agree, but this crew in the Impossible Planet, I have that same feeling for as well. And it's like, even though we barely got to know Scooty because she was killed so quick, and I feel awful when you see her body floating away.
And
Ida's reaction to it.
I was saying, it's so well written and so well acted. Again, the fact that Ida's like, it's the kind of...
She says like she was like
20 or something.
20, yeah.
But the fact that... what I find so interesting in that episode about that part as well is the fact that she was like, I was her mentor, I was supposed to look after her, which is so similar to the Doctor.
The Doctor
and Rose.
does that all the time, doesn't he? He said, like, how many times has Capaldi said, I had a duty of care?
I mean, Shooty
Yeah.
Shooty did it recently.
Shooty referred to himself as Belinda's protector.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he does, especially because, isn't it Scooty? Is that her name?
Scooty, yeah.
Scooty and Rose are very similar ages. Well,
Yes,
pretty much the same age.
They should be the same age, yeah.
You kind of think, oh God, she's so young. And she was so excited about this.
Well, that's the thing. I think, obviously, that's the story where Satan, or the Beast, or whatever you want to call him, says, like, he foreshadows Rose is going to die in battle and whatever. And this whole thing of her and the Doctor kind of recklessly wandering around, and it's inevitably going to lead to this outcome, and he foreshadows that by saying she'll die in battle. And I think, the fact that Rose is analog in this story, the other girl, blonde girl even, is she blonde?
She's like a mousy blonde, yeah.
Yeah, the other girl who is of her age, who is there by choice as well, because they make a point of saying she's there by choice, and she's the first one to die.
Yeah.
And I think it's how blessed Rose is to have the Doctor there as her protector, but also that luck will only last so long. And eventually it's always going to end up the way it did.
Yeah. I just think it's so... Again, it was a sleeper for me as well. I didn't expect it to be that high, really, in my listing.
Yeah.
But...
I love that story. I'm surprised you put it that high, because I know we spoke loads of times about how you can acknowledge when a story's well written, but the ones that sit high for you in your list are the ones that make you feel a certain way.
Yeah.
I didn't think that was going to do that for you.
That's the thing. It doesn't make me feel cozy, but I think it makes me feel so much towards the characters.
Yeah.
That, again, you're like genuinely gutted.
I find
if something
character
happens.
is more important than plot.
And I love the fact that... Do you mean, like... I love Ida so much, and I love her relation, her time with the Doctor.
Yeah.
And how she's... Even though when she knows she's going to die, she's like, well, I kind of still want to check things out
Curiosity.
anyway.
I came all this way. I might as well... If I'm going to die here, I might as well have come here for a reason.
Yeah, I might as well see it.
Yeah,
before
and there's that
I
thing
die.
where the Beast gives the little teases about them, and she says running away from her father.
Yeah.
It's like, we don't get any more detail than that,
We don't need it.
but we don't need it. And it's, and that's the same thing we get, like, come up with the all out now. Yeah, other than Toby being a virgin.
Yeah. I mean, Jefferson's running away from his wife. Isn't he?
Yeah, his wife never forgave him and stuff like that. And it's like, we don't need more than that. tells us everything we need to. Yeah, it's underrated. Well, not underrated because people like it, but it's
something that
I think it's often overshadowed by the finale.
Yes.
Because it comes so close to the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, great.
Yeah.
I think, in terms of top 5, so in our top 5, we both have Girl in the Fireplace, Doomsday, Impossible Planet,
And Satan Pit.
Pit.
You just have
I got School Reunion
higher.
and you have, what was it, Army of Ghosts.
I'm surprised that your Army of Ghosts and Age of Steel reaches, is it mid? It doesn't go
Yes.
into low, does it?
No, they're both mid.
How come you chose that? Especially Army of Ghosts.
They're both in mid. I mean, they'd never go into bad. I like them both.
Yeah.
They're purely in mid by default, just because the other episodes I have higher.
That's fair
That's
enough.
it. Again, when we were putting this list together, for me, it was trying to separate the stories, remembering where the cliffhanger is, and remember what happens in part 1, what happens in part 2.
Yeah.
And I think I had a similar thing to you, where most of the parts I enjoyed from that Cybermen two-parter are in the second half, which is why I've got Age of Steel higher than Rise of the Cybermen.
Yeah.
But even then, even at that story's highest points, I don't think I like it as much as the Satan Pit.
That's fair
So
enough.
that's just kind of why it just falls there.
That's fair. It's a School Reunion. Like I said, it's why.
School Reunion, I like it because it's one of the examples where the script actually uses the contemporary setting. If you think of an episode like Flatline,
Yeah.
Flatline is an episode that takes place in contemporary Earth, current, what would it be, 2014, Series
Yeah.
8. But you could take that story out and plop it into 2114, and it wouldn't really change anything.
Yeah, that's true.
Where School Reunion really, even watching it now, it doesn't feel contemporary. It
No.
feels like 2006, 2007. It feels
does,
like
yeah.
then. And
Why do you think that is? Do you think it's
Schools.
I was going to say, do you think it's the school?
yeah,
Let's be fair.
it looks like every school I went to.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm not sure how schools are now, but when I was there, they were trying to like ban chips.
Yeah, Jamie Oliver.
Yeah,
God damn.
like no more chicken nuggets and chips. You're now having healthier meals.
Yeah.
So I feel like,
Trying to take my square bars and my Yazoos away.
yeah, or well, probably for the better thing, but also trying to take the Lucasade away as well.
Yeah. Yeah, no, but I think it makes use of its setting in an interesting way. That's where we get a lot of Mickey's development
Yeah.
from being the quote unquote tin dog to being a valued member of the team. Obviously, Sarah Jane coming back is just always good because Elizabeth Sladen's great.
Yeah, she is.
Seeing David Tennant fanboy over just being in the same room as her, and I think even though as uncomfortable as it is to watch, Billie Piper does a good job of being bitchily jealous towards her.
But
And
it's,
I find-
it's the same with Sarah Jane though. That's what is interesting, but maybe kind of why I don't like it as much because my Sarah Jane that I
Is
watched.
it a side of Sarah Jane you don't like seeing?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
she's in what I've seen. She's so mature and she's so
I guess that's
And
the
that's
thing, isn't
so
it? It's
petty.
how different the characters behave when they're around him.
yeah. Well, yeah, that's a good example.
Yeah, because Jack's the
especially-
same. Jack's a lot darker in Torchwood.
Yeah,
And
but
as soon as he's around the Doctor, he becomes like River Song. Do you know what I mean?
But I think it's interesting because, especially because Sarah Jane, she kind of gets on and starts doing like the Doctor says, oh, you're investigating, you're doing what
Yeah.
we used to do, but you're doing it by yourself. But when she sees like the Doctor's just kind of picked up another companion,
Yeah, she sees it as her replacement.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's it's all interesting stuff, and and I like the Krillitanes in concept. The idea of a species that cherry pick physical attributes from species they dominate and
It's
just
such
take
an
them onto themselves
interesting-
is interesting. Even though I don't think it gets explored
no,
as much as I'd have liked it to. I think it's
I
an interesting
agree.
concept, and Anthony Head's just really good in this.
he is. Yeah.
Yeah, so I just like School Reunion a lot.
Should we speak about our bottom?
Our bottoms,
Yeah.
yeah. I will defend Love and Monsters. I like it. It's only there by default.
I mean, it's right at the bottom for me.
It's
I would be interested. I know, 'cause
it's
I
my
know-
highest rated in the bottom 5.
I know you and Rob discussed this in the Love and Monsters episode about how generally in the Doctor Who fandom,
Yes.
most people see this negatively.
Yes.
But do you think they see it as negatively as I do, or do you think they're generally on the same lines as you and Rob, where it's not your favourite, but they don't think it's the worst or it's terrible?
It depends. I'd say in the general community, I think people are more on your side.
Yeah.
You get the odd, I was going to say more level-headed people.
Wow.
The apologists, we'll say, people that are kind of harder to disappoint. I feel like are maybe more in our camp.
The clutches.
I think
onto.
No, I think honestly it depends on how your brain works when you remember an episode.
I guess.
Because I say, when I think of Love and Monsters, I don't think of the Absorbaloff.
I only think of the Absorbaloff.
That's the thing. I don't think of him. I think of Victor Kennedy, and again, we did discuss this, me and Robbie, in the episode. Victor Kennedy's good in this. Before he turns into the Absorbaloff, Peter Kay is good in this. Like, Victor Kennedy's quite intimidating, and he's obviously maybe not physically, but as a force, as someone
very manipulative, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Yeah,
but he's doing it in such a way that they know they're being manipulated, but they're kind of like.
They go along with it anyway because he appeals to their curious side.
Yeah, and kind of the thing of like, they're like, oh, well, he seems to know a lot, so I guess
this is the best lead we've had in ages. Yeah, I like Victor Kennedy.
Yeah.
I think of him. I think of Elton and Jackie and their moment.
I love...
Not just the scene in the flat where they're having that heart-to-heart, but even the scene in like the laundromat. I like
love that as
when he's
well,
got his like 5-stage plan. He's like, I
love Elton. I just think it's such a waste. That's why I'm so sad.
Yeah, he's like, ingratiate yourself. Ingratiate yourself with a humorous device, and then she does every stage of his plan for him.
Yeah,
I like that. I like when he's looking for Rose in London. He's got the picture of her, and he's like, how am I going to find this person in the centre of London? That one face in a crowd of 1 million. And then it just cuts to that old woman going, oh, that's Rose Tyler. She lives over there. Her mum's Jackie Tyler. Nice family. Bit odd. I love all that. I know you don't. I like the Scooby-Doo bit. I think if the whole episode was like that, fair enough. But I think because...
The only way I could allow it is the fact that because he's recalling it.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. I think because that's a bit... We cut to the framing device of him speaking to his camera and he's like, that's not actually the beginning of the story. I thought it would just be a good place to throw you in.
Yeah.
And then he goes back and then, because it's him recounting this story, and let's be honest, he's a bit of a goofball.
He is, yeah.
Yeah, because that's not maybe canonically how it happened, but that's how it's seen through his eyes.
Yeah.
I like it.
I do. I love Elton and I love getting to see that side of Jackie. I like the little group of what are they called? The
Linda.
Linda.
Yeah.
But I just
yeah, for me as well, it
just gets too
Elton's
stupid.
intrigue with the Doctor because he saw him in his childhood home, and again, the reveal that his mother died isn't until the end. Yeah. So the whole time it's like, what was this man doing in my house? And then at the end, Elton reveals, and that was the night my mother died. Yeah. And it's like, it doesn't even seem to be the mystery of what was he doing there in the house the night my mother died. It seems almost coincidental in his mind. Yeah. And
it's kind of why he's been hunting him. I guess he kind of assumed that he'd have
some answers. Yeah.
Or maybe something to do with it.
Yeah. And that final moment where child Elton is walking in the park holding his mum's hand and then she's kind of like fading away into the distance and you get that ending of Mr. Blue Sky. Mr. Blue Sky. Like, this episode's really good, guys. I swear.
In some points it is.
People get distracted by the green man with the mohawk.
Yeah, but
and the loincloth.
It's not just the mohawk. God, again, I watched it a little bit earlier just to grab a couple of facts. But my God, the way it goes down his back and then like around his butt. Saw him running away, and I was like, oh God, that's what
I get it. I understand the complaints.
It's so and the patio slab. My God,
I can't defend the patio slab.
There's
nothing I can even. I can even defend the Absorbaloff by saying, "Hey, it was a child's drawing. They won a Blue Peter competition." I can't defend the paving slab. There was nothing I can do to defend that.
And the child probably didn't even say that.
Well, the paving slab, of course not.
Yeah. So why did they put it in? I know they're going to be like, "Oh, the kid's going to watch this," so. We'll keep Ursula alive.
This has nothing to do with William Grantham. This is Russell trying to be funny.
Oh God.
And
we've even got a bit of a love life.
Like I say, I understand people's complaints and their criticisms with it, but there is a lot, and I mean a lot, to like about this episode.
I mean, there is. There definitely is.
And so people that say this is like the worst, or even one of the worst episodes of Doctor Who. No, it's not. It's not even bottom 3 in this series. It's not.
I mean, again, maybe I put it above Fear Her because Sorry, that is tripe. But the issue is, I find with it is, I'm so, and maybe others feel this way, I'm so angry at it because it could have been so good.
I understand that. I understand the frustration of what could have been and the potential of it. I get that.
And it was so close.
Yeah.
Could you have not just done this story with something else?
I know. Yeah,
Could you have not, like, I don't know, put another, and then just had the Absorbable off being, like, I don't know, in Fear Her. Well, you couldn't do it in Fear Her, but still. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I get it. But that's what I mean. I think going back to like how this came up, I think how you... It all comes down to how your brain works and how you remember these episodes. Because if you remember the Absorbable off and the chasing him around and the paving slab, then yeah, obviously. But if you remember the other stuff, then you're going to see it in a more positive light.
Yeah.
And it's also a balance of how much does a good episode having a bad moment bring it down, and how much does a bad episode having a good moment raise it up for you, which is going to be subjective.
I guess mine is because it's so much of a disappointment.
Yeah,
that's
that's
why
fair.
it's so low. Because I'm angry. I'm angry that it ended the way it did. But yeah,
That's fair.
I mean,
But
it's interesting
I'd rather something that doesn't quite live up to its potential rather than something that is just dull.
I think it's interesting that because you've got Tooth and Claw,
I've got
Idiot's Lantern, and
after-
Fear Her.
Yeah, after Love and Monsters, I got New Earth, Tooth and Claw, Idiot's Lantern, Fear Her.
I mean, I've got Rise of Cybermen, but I know you dislike Idiot's Lantern a lot.
Yeah, I didn't dislike it as much as I thought I did on the most recent watch.
Yeah, because you really hate it, and I don't think it's that bad.
It's not good.
It's not great, but I mean, it's not Fear Her or
No,
Love and Monsters.
that's why it's above Fear Her. I like Love and Monsters more.
Again, if no.
Idiot's Lantern has less going for it. Idiot's Lantern isn't as incompetent as Fear Her is. It doesn't have bad child actors. It doesn't have... Again, you talk about wasted potential. The Isolus is really interesting,
I agree, yeah.
but that's kind of wasted potential where... I don't know. The Wire could be interesting, but just isn't.
Yeah, I guess.
I feel like the Isolus is interesting. We just needed a better plot
Yeah.
to go around it. Where the Wire just there's potential for it to be interesting. It just isn't because it's just an entity that lives in the TV and sucks your face off for some reason.
Yeah, The Wire feels like a brainstorm idea. And
Yeah,
it's like
first draft.
Yeah, it's like, okay, well that was good, but let's do something better.
Yeah.
I mean, why could it be the Absorbable off? You look at the TV and the Absorbable off absorbs your face into the TV.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tooth and Claw.
Tooth and
it's
Claw
so
and New Earth.
mid.
Yeah, Tooth and Claw and New Earth. They're both in my bottom 5, but they're both in that camp of I don't dislike them. They're just both so mids that I'm like...
Tooth and Claw is always the one I forget. Always.
Yeah,
And and the monks. The monks.
yeah, the Kung Fu monks.
Which doesn't come up later on. It's so weird.
Yeah, I think what I learned when we watched it this time was that Tooth and Claw's a lot better in the second half. Once the werewolf breaks out of the cage
Yeah.
and the action starts and you get to the bit where it chases them, some people start dying, they get trapped in the room with the mistletoe and they're reading through the books and they're learning stuff and then they use the telescope. All that stuff's kind of cool. I kind of like it. The whole setup, it's meant to be tense and I just don't think it is.
I agree.
The whole thing with the monks being like...
Just,
you know from the cold open that they've worked their way in there,
Yeah.
and Sir Robert is trying to warn them away, but they don't really pick up on the message, and it's meant to be tense, but it's just not. So it's just kind of a bit dull for the first half.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
fair. I just think it's quite meh.
Yeah,
I think, again, like I said, with Love and Monsters, I think it was done really well until it wasn't, and that's why I'm angry about it. But this is just because it's so then it's just there. I don't feel like there's much you could have done to make it amazing.
but
It
that's
just
what I mean.
is
That's
what it
why
is.
in my head, that's why it's below Love and Monsters.
I guess.
Because Love and Monsters has good stuff. It's just not everything lived up to its potential. Where with this, it's just like, even at its best, everything firing on all cylinders and executed in the best way it could be. This was never going to be great.
No.
So yeah, that's why it's there. The only kind of struggle I actually had putting this together was deciding whether I preferred New Earth or Tooth and Claw. And
Really?
I had to think about it, and I was like, I'm not sure, because they've both got bits I like and bits I don't like. In the end, I put New Earth above it.
I've also done that.
Purely because of the Cassandra ending, and it's got some humorous bits I like.
And it's got Face of Bo.
That's right, I forget the face of both in it, but yeah, again, and it's also got that interesting kind of moral dilemma about the flesh, about like creating a species that you use to try and cure stuff, and they have the argument, the Sisterhood of Plenitude, that like, well, they're not real, they don't truly exist.
Yeah.
But the Doctor's like, well, they do though. Look at them.
Yeah.
I just find that just a little more interesting.
I agree.
But yeah.
Yeah. So, what was your overall thought then? I know we've kind of discussed it.
Series 2.
Series 2.
Yeah. To recap, like I say, I think Series 1 is better. I think Series 1 has higher highs and higher lows. But I enjoy this series. It's okay.
Yeah.
The thing is, Doctor Who is one of those shows, I like it so much, even the series I actively dislike,
You still enjoy watching, don't you?
I would still rather watch than just not. Do you know what I mean? I'm not one of those people. You know, some people are like, oh yeah, I'm rewatching through Doctor Who, but I skip these episodes. I don't skip any episodes.
No, you don't.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, I don't particularly like Series 7. I would never just skip it, though.
That makes me
I wouldn't get to the end of Series 6 and then just skip to Capaldi. I'm not going to do that.
No.
I wouldn't just skip to Day of the Doctor. I'd watch through it, because that's the show.
Yeah.
The show is its ups and downs. Do you know what I mean? If you skip all the episodes that are middling or bad, you end up skipping half the show. Because I'm sorry, guys, I hate to break this to you. I am a massive Doctor Who fan, but most of these episodes are not very good.
Yeah.
I don't mean Series 2, I mean of the show. Most of them aren't great. So that's what I mean. If you only watch the good episodes, or the generally
not watch the show.
That's what I mean, at that point you're going to be like, yeah. So I watched Dalek, Empty Child, Girl in the Fireplace, Doomsday.
Yeah.
These characters don't make any sense.
No.
This
has no emotional
Blink.
payoff.
Yeah. I think you need those kind of filler middling episodes, because
Yeah.
not only does it give you a sense of how good the good ones actually are, but it's not necessarily the plot. Again, I think when people think of an episode, when you say Love and Monsters, I think the reason people look down on it is because they remember the plot and not the character stuff.
Yeah.
And that's fair enough, because I kind of do the same thing. That's what I mean. If I say Blink, and someone says, which one's Blink? You're going to go, the one with the Weeping Angels. You're not going to say, oh, the one with Sally Sparrow and Billy Shipton. You're not going to say that, do you know what I mean?
Well, no, because you think of the Monster of the Week, don't you?
But that's it. It's
the whole
the plot
point.
in general. That's what I mean, though. It's like, I don't know, if I try and think of another episode.
I think the only one that doesn't really fall... There's probably a couple more, but the one that like screams out to me that isn't the case is Heaven Sent.
Well, it's like a character-focused episode.
Yeah, because you don't go, oh, I can't even remember what they call it, the thing that's following him.
The Veil.
Yeah, you don't even go, that's someone with a veil. You go, that's
Yeah.
someone with the doctor's like going mad in a castle.
Or another episode, I think, maybe Vincent and the Doctor.
Yeah.
Because you don't go, oh, yeah, the one with the Crephaeus.
Yeah.
You just go, oh, yeah, that's the one with...
That's
where they meet
interesting,
Vincent.
actually, because do you think it's the same with Unicorn and the Wasp?
That's interesting, because, again, I think of that as the Agatha Christie one.
Yeah.
But then again, some people might remember it as the one with the wasp.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, I think most people typically tend to remember it by the plot,
Yeah.
as opposed to the character actions that happen in it. And I did have a reason to bring this up, but it's escaped me.
Sorry, I'm sure that was probably my fault.
I can't remember what we were talking about.
I don't.
Oh yeah, I think I was just because I was just talking about in general about how
People focus on it, don't they?
you need the middling episodes.
Yeah.
Because that's what I mean. If you say like Idiot's Lantern, I don't particularly like the Idiot's Lantern, but I don't skip it because not only are there some nice moments in there, but it's getting a sense of the Doctor and Rose's full journey. If you skip the bad or the middling episodes, then yeah, like say in Series 2, you just go like School Reunion, Girl in the Fireplace, Impossible Planet, Satan Pit, finale.
Well, this
And
is
it's like-
interesting because I'm usually a skipper. Like,
Yeah.
if I don't like something, I'm like, I don't want to watch it.
Yeah.
However, I will say it's felt very weird missing out on episodes because
Well,
I
like Love and
haven't,
Monsters.
because I didn't go and watch it myself.
Yeah.
And like what's it called, the Christmas Invasion.
Yes.
really weird.
Yeah.
But
Weird as in because me and Rob have covered it and now we're referencing it, or weird as in just skipping it and just going from parting of the ways to New Earth?
parting of the ways to New Earth a little
Right.
bit, especially because you missed story there.
Yes. Yeah, you do. Yeah.
Not so much with Love and
That's what I mean,
Monsters.
yeah, because you would have missed the Harriet Jones moment.
Yeah.
And a lot of the Jackie and Mickey stuff and Jackie coming to terms with this new doctor, you would have missed that.
And then in Love and Monsters, you missed the thing about Jackie. I feel like that makes Jackie's not rant, but kind of when she confronts Rose in Army of Ghosts.
It feels like it comes out of nowhere a bit less.
Yeah. It's like, oh, she's been thinking about this, and we know that.
Yeah.
So she's brought it up. Whereas, like, I kind of watched it, and I was like, oh, that was a bit strong. I was like, oh, yeah, of course, she's been on her own. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's that's why I'm an advocate for. I get it if you just want to watch a bit of good telly. Do you know what I mean? If you just want to watch a one-off good episode and you stick on Blink, I get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're a Doctor Who fan, don't skip episodes, man.
Just watch all the way through and enjoy.
Yeah, just watch it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, people that like skip era. I mean, I guess at the end of the day, I guess it's just watch what you enjoy. It's like if you don't like the Chibnall era, then I guess you don't have to. You can finish Capaldi and go back to Eccleston if you want. But again, I'm the same. I'm not a massive fan of Chibnall's era, but when I finish Capaldi, I'm gonna watch Series 11. I'm not just gonna go back and pretend it doesn't exist.
Yeah. Watch what you enjoy and support the things you love in any way you can.
Yeah.
Do you mean if you like the show, show it love.
Yeah.
Let it known. Let it known.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's about it, really.
Yeah.
So that's our wrap up.
It is.
Thank you for listening.
Yes.
Do you have anything else to say or bring up about Series 2?
Not about Series 2. Just obviously, just as a recap for anyone that maybe didn't catch the last episode, obviously Series 2 is done now. We're not covering Wish World that came out yesterday as of recording this.
So it would be a week ago at the day of release.
Yes. So
just
we wouldn't have covered Wish World when it came out because we're going to cover that and the Reality War together, as we always do with two-parters.
And that'll be out on Sunday.
So when this is 2 days' time.
Yeah.
That will be out. We're going to go see that in the cinema. I'm looking forward to it. Once that's done, we will have.
We're going to have a little break. Well, we're going to do the
season 2 or series 15 roundup. Basically, what we've done today, we're going to do that, but for season 2.
Yeah.
This is so confusing.
So more prep.
Yeah. And then we're going to have a little break. I think we're going to switch to doing this fortnightly.
Yeah. Well, we're going to see maybe about 3 a month. So every 3 weeks we'll have a break, just so we can kind of get on top of things, because we know like we said before, not that we do this because we enjoy it, but that's another reason why we don't kind of want to be rushing things all the time. It gives us a bit more time to live life.
We were really excited about covering the new series when it came out, but we didn't necessarily want to put Series 2 on hold because we know some people would have been following that for a couple of weeks, and then to just put that on hold didn't really seem fair. But because of that, we've kind of had a bit of a burnout because we've been doing like 2 episodes a week,
as well as our 9 to 5 jobs.
and everything else, and we're also in the process of like looking for a home and all that stuff, so we're very busy. So we'll maybe look at either fortnightly or maybe do it for 3 weeks, and then every 4th week we'll just have a break.
Yeah, but we'll keep you updated either way.
Yeah.
But again, just a little heads up. If we miss a week, we'll be back at some point.
We haven't just fallen off the face of the earth.
No, we just don't manage our time very well.
Yeah.
I probably fell asleep and didn't watch the episode. So
Yeah.
But thank you for watching or listening or whatever you've done. If you like this, you can subscribe, I guess. Connor usually does this. I don't know what. Subscribe.
Thank you all for listening. We appreciate you very much. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below to keep up to date with everything that we post. You can follow us over on YouTube Music, on Apple Podcasts, or on Spotify. Leave a comment for Charlotte. She likes it.
Can you tell I don't do this?
And thank you all for listening. I guess we'll see you next time, where we'll be covering The Runaway Bride.
Yeah.
Donna Noble.
Oh, yeah.
And the Rachnos.
Oh, no.
God. Thank you all for listening. We appreciate you very much again, as always.
Yeah.
And goodbye.